for sustainable wealth. Every Friday, 7 p.m. UTC. VeChain versus Unibright. Which one to choose for short and long term? Which makes more money and passive income? Also, some very interesting token economic models for both that can benefit us investors, as one of them can be deflationary. Ooh. Alex?
Now, let's see which crypto made more money through all these years. Taking a look at the last bull cycle, we can see that VeChain for a brief period of time outperformed Unibright, but generally they both did similarly good. If we compare them from the start that Unibright was created and taking the lowest points of them both at 2018, it is clear that holding Unibright would make us more money. $100 invested in VeChain in December of 2018 would make us today around $2,000. The same 100 invested in Unibright for the same time period would give us 4 times more, around $8,000. Did you expect that, Fluffy?
Yes, I did.
Now, if you guys want to check the previous crypto battle, Cardano versus VeChain, just click the suggested video at the right top corner. What are the use cases? They both solve real-world problems. Tell us, Fluffy.
And tell I will. VeChain was founded in 2015 by Sunny Lu, the former Chief Information Officer of Louis Vuitton in China. It is designed to enhance supply chain management and business processes. A use case with numerous applications and excellent fundamentals, something all big players require. But what is VeChain true narrative? A supply chain is a network between a company and its suppliers that produce and distribute a product to the final buyer. VeChain is a blockchain layer 1 solution and contains two tokens, VET and VTHO. First is used to transfer value into the blockchain and the latter is used to power smart contract transactions. Now, who are the VeChain partners? VeChain so far made 39 impressive partnerships. Top partners among them are PricewaterhouseCoopers, a consulting company, LVMH, a brand manager company, and last but not least, Group Renault, a car manufacturing company. On the other hand, Unibright origins are somewhat different. Martin, Jung and Schmidt founded Unibright in 2017. Martin was a former employee of Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, a company that helped business integrate Ethereum very successfully. Now, Unibright company provides blockchain as a service, helping companies to formalize workflows. Access to the Unibright platform requires UBT tokens. To unlock the platform's features, users must deposit UBT tokens. This is how Unibright incentivizes users. Unibright so far made roughly 10 interesting partnerships. Top partners among them are SAP, that produces software management, Kona, that manages Coca-Cola bottle supply, and last but not least, Coinbase Custody, managing digital assets. Of course, both narratives have common elements. Workflows and supplies overlap. At first, that might not look obvious, but a closer look will show us that both use cases require blockchain properties that enforce the following properties: data integrity, identity management, and flow analysis. Now, let's see what Alex found. Alex found some very interesting information about the token economics. Alex, what did you manage to find?
Listen up. Those two have a bit complex token economic models that I will explain shortly. We need to know about them as it will help us make more money. But for starters, VeChain is worth much more than Unibright, almost 40 times more, as it has a market cap of $4 billion and Unibright is worth $160 million. There are 66.7 billion VET tokens out there circulating and 150 million UBT tokens from Unibright. All 150 million UBT tokens that will ever exist are already in circulation. The same cannot be said for VeChain, as according to CoinGecko and Messari, max supply is 86.7 billion, meaning that all 100% of UBT tokens are out, but there are still 23% VET tokens that can and should gradually come to the market. So Unibright has no inflation and we should not fear more sell pressure. But in case of VeChain, we don't know, as there is no info about that. My guess though is that those are the tokens reserved from the Foundation for Business Development and will be unlocked strategically when needed for a partnership or something else. So I wouldn't worry too much about this, as the team and their intentions seem to be to grow the company. What do you think, Flav?
I think that both tokens have real world use cases and are quite unique, that focus mostly into the crypto technology.
Exactly. Here we need to dive a little deeper to understand how those tokens and companies will rise in price and how they work, as this will make or save us a lot of money. VeChain has two tokens. VET token is used for transferring value and payments on the upper business level, and the VTHO token is used for gas, similar to Ethereum when making a transaction. The two-token model was created to combat the rising price of tokens and rising cost of transactions as seen on Ethereum right now. By holding VET token and staking it, you get VTHO token. Here you can say you earn passive income or use those tokens for gas on the VeChain blockchain. Or another way of getting VTHO is to buy directly on exchanges. When the demand rises and the cost of transaction rises as well, VeChain Foundation can do two things to combat this. They either increase how many VTHO tokens are created when staking VET tokens, increasing the supply, which will get the price of VTHO down, or they decrease the minimum amount of VTHO token needed for a transaction, thus lowering the cost of transactions. What this means for us? To put it roughly, all you need to remember is that when demand increases, the price of VTHO can go down, but the price of VET token most likely will stay high and stabilize on a higher level. Clearly, I would choose to hold VET token for the long term here between the two that VeChain has.
Yeah, so here we see two old projects that, as stated before, they focus in the use case rather than the Pumpamentals, but they also take into consideration the price increase, and they also take into consideration problems that rise in Ethereum because they have the maturity and the know-how, since these projects are quite old, almost as old as Ethereum.
Now, here to mention, when researching, I saw some people having concerns of the possibility VET token being a security, which, if labeled as such by the SEC in America, would mean strict regulations and a potential negative impact on price. As I don't know in what degree VeChain is decentralized, I don't know if this risk is big or not. But I believe even if VET token were to be labeled a security, VeChain already makes quarterly financial reports, it already tries to comply with some regulations, and it does apply KYC and VVIT. So I think this risk is modest. On the other hand, Unibright is quite decentralized. Most of the supply is in the hands of the public. A look on chain shows us that there is no single address holding huge amounts of UBT token, which makes the risk being a security smaller. But most crypto assets could be labeled as such. The amount of UBT holders seem to grow organically since 2020. All this also is good from the point of view of a big player who wants to accumulate as all the supply is out. No hidden surprises is there, and no single holder who could dump the price is out there as well. But the most interesting part is the token economic model Unibright has. For someone to use the platform and the service Unibright is providing, he needs to buy UBT tokens from exchanges, lock up those tokens for minimum 30 days, then use the platform, and in the span of 30 days those tokens go to Unibright. Here is the interesting part. Pay attention. If he wants to continue using the services, he buys those tokens from Unibright for a standard price of 14 cents or new tokens from the market again. If he doesn't, Unibright gives those tokens to non-profit organizations so they can use the platform and make their businesses and processes more efficient. So UBT tokens are not going back to the market, making UBT token essentially deflationary.
Yes, we see this is one of the few projects that they have a humanitarian aspects.
Exactly. Now what this means for us, this means price goes up, guys. We only need demand rising. Now here to mention that this is not permanent on the blockchain. If Unibright wants to, they can change this and start giving those tokens back to the market. But for now, this is true. So Unibright has deflationary properties and has a place in our portfolio for the short term for sure.
Exactly, my point. And due to the pandemic, we had a tremendous hit in the supply chain narrative, but this looks that it's going to recover. Like for example, when we had the issues with the lockdowns, we saw that lots of supply chains were damaged that still didn't recover, and it's going to take time to recover. So with the recovery of the supply chains, if that happens, which looks like it's going to happen, we're expecting also the VeChain token to also recover, and this narrative is also going to reinforce the Unibright narrative too, which is relatively similar.
I agree with that statement, and long term, as both projects depend on real world adoption from businesses, what we need to focus on for now is what kind of partnerships and new developments those projects have. It is positive to see that Unibright launched recently its mainnet and had some partnerships as well, although we need to see more and from the real world business side as well. We need to see more usage of the platform. Unibright is and has many general use cases, and as I understand it, more catered to medium-sized businesses and small ones as well. So for now I choose it for the short term, as price performance is really good and the market cap is small and can easily go up more than VeChain.
Yeah, so that's correct. VeChain is targeting medium to big size companies, and Unibright is targeting small to medium sized companies. And of course, the growth potential for Unibright is bigger than VET, but VET is an established technology with a lot of big strategic partnerships.
VeChain is just bigger, it's the first mover, more established with bigger team and partnerships. Names such BMW, Renault, PwC are using it, they are the partners. Also, VeChain is its own blockchain, not a platform, with much more capabilities, such as potentially having DeFi, as they already rolled out their own stablecoin backed one by US dollar. And they have the functionality for NFTs as well since 2018. Not to mention, we can see recent partnerships as well, and the ecosystem keeps growing to more directions than one. VET token can get you passive income in the form of VTHO, so taking everything into account, VeChain is definitely the long-term pick.
Exactly. Mature technology, very well established business, real use case, people that focus in solving problems, and a very old project.
Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode and we could help you decide which one to choose. Hope we did that.
Subscribe and share, as this helps us grow in the YouTube. Comment in the comments which crypto battle you would like to see as of our next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Dear God.